Probably should start. We just had the #1 player taken in the draft in volleyball. Congratulations to them and to her. Just saw her walking through the hallway, so pretty cool. Even though they're still playing their season, so unique, but nonetheless, congratulations. Obviously, this is what college football is all about. I'm sure you guys will revert back and maybe ask some questions on last week, but I think when you kind of get to this week, that it's hard to talk about anything else. And I've said it since the day I came here. I've grown up this way. Like, what makes college football special is rivalries. And I know the new age of college football and some of the stuff that's gone on the last 4 years, whether it's expansions and leagues changing and growing, and it's still the thing that makes this game in college in particular so special is when you have these rivalry games. And the great thing about it is you throw out everything, right? I think they're best when at the end of the season, because all records go aside. Whatever postseason looks like for different people, it goes aside, and it comes down to, a respect of a rivalry. And I reminded our guys of that yesterday as we wrapped up and finished up from the weekend and enjoyed what it is that happened last weekend, but also tried to move them on to make sure they understood that the #1 most important thing in a rivalry is respect. And all the things that we've done in the offseason make sure that our guys understand that. And the respect starts with how you prepare and how you go about your business, not just about the way you play. So it's exciting, and that's like I said, that's what this week's all about, and we'll get rolling on it. We brought it up after the game on Saturday, but I wanted the guys to enjoy, the Saturday night. Not that it was very long because it was a later night, but I wanted to make sure they woke up the next morning and understand that what's in front of us, and it's all about getting that axe.
Luke, for senior day, we saw Joe Brunner out there. Obviously, I guess we'll see what happens with his future. But in terms of what have you seen from him this year? It seems like he's obviously kind of a dominant type personality. But what has he been like kind of behind closed doors?
Well, he's been one of those, kind of the rock behind a lot of the things that's going on. And we also have seen the ups and downs. But when we talk about what's going on inside that locker room, Joe's been a rock. And for that, I have the utmost respect for him. He had actually asked me earlier in the week about being able to walk with his buddies. He said, "It doesn't mean anything, Coach. I haven't made anything. I let it go." I said, if that's what you want to do and you want to be able to walk with a lot of the guys that obviously you live with and your buddies, then we'll go about that. We won't read into it. We'll move forward because we respect you. You've meant an incredible amount to us and our program, our team, and this year in particular.
Luke, I know you're a Big Ten guy. Played in the Big Ten, been an assistant there, know the rivalry weeks. But when you came to Wisconsin, is there anything that you've learned about this rivalry since coming here that maybe you didn't know when you first got here?
Well, I mean, yeah, you study it, you recognize where the balance is, and it's incredibly close, and but I think more than anything, it's just understanding and respecting what rivalries really are, and it's embracing it. And it doesn't mean that you have, hey, I don't know all the history. I didn't grow up watching. Like, the idea of being a traditionalist, the idea of being from the Big Ten in a lot of ways, it's understanding and respecting what rivalry is all about. It's about the guys that come before you. It's about the guys that will come after you. And that's what I mean. Like, I tell our guys that it starts with respect, and it's respect for the game. It's respect for your opponent, but it's also respect for traditions. And so to me, early on, the most important thing that I want to reiterate for myself and to our team is you have to embrace that. Right? I don't care. Yes, it's been a unique season, and it's been a lot of tough things for us, but that doesn't matter. And it wouldn't matter based on what happened last week. It wouldn't matter based on what happened two or 3 weeks ago. At the end of the year, you're going to have this. We've prepared for it. We've talked about it. I say that with what we prepared for with another rivalry game, that, some people would ask, well, you prepared, you did all these different things for the rivalry game, and look what, like, guys, what it comes down to is none of that stuff matters once the foot hits the ball, right? All the different hype and the speeches and the former players talking, to me, what it really comes down to is respect, and respect the way you prepare, but then ultimately this respect in the way that you play the game and how you represent us and our program.
Coach, I know you weren't here for his entire journey, but for Aaron Witt to be able to walk out on senior day and just get to that point, what do you think it meant to him and the program in general?
Well, I'm sure you could ask him. One thing I try not to do is speak for guys, but there's nobody that, I don't know the whole history, right, because I wasn't here for the whole time, but I do know enough to know that nothing means more to that to him than obviously this place, what this place has done for him, what this place has done sticking with him and getting him healthy, and not just physically, but in a lot of different ways, and believing and trusting in him. And that's not just me. I think that's this entire program. I think it's the guys inside that locker room. And he come out. He's the one guy that comes out and just looks you in the eye and says, I'm just going to give you a handshake. And I'm like, no. I'm gonna give you a hug too, buddy. I appreciate you. Know that more than anything. I love you. I don't know if he'd say that back. It's just not Aaron Witt, but I know deep down inside, there's nothing that means more, and I respect that more than anything else.
You talked about Friday night, or Saturday night about the receivers. It being a tough year for them just because of the passing game. Vinny falls in that category, yet he seems to be same old Vinny, handling it well. Can you speak to that a little bit? Just his attitude.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, like they are deep rooted, and I say Vinny in particular. They are deep rooted in what we preach, and I'm not saying I'm surprised, but it's been impressive because it is difficult. It's frustrating at times for me, right? I mean, and I never caught a pass. Well, I shouldn't say that. In high school, I caught passes, pop pass to tight end, but that's beside the point. I know how difficult it can be, and to not even sometimes maybe think you have as many of the chances and opportunities because. Let's be honest, like the wide receiver position sometimes is very difficult to coach and really difficult to justify, right? I mean, you're open and you don't get the ball. You don't get many opportunities or shots down the field. Like there's a lot of different things that just have to happen. But him being the leader of that room and how he's went about his business, this is not press conference talk of any sorts. Like he is more mature than I know I would have been at that age. And I can't say enough about how he's been able to handle this. I actually wasn't kidding you when I called him up in the office this past week and just wanted to sit down with him before, we got to senior day and before we got to the end of the season and just make sure he understood how much I appreciate not just his play, but how he really has gone about handling all the different things that we've, gone through offensively this year, and in particular at the quarterback position. And so it meant even a little bit more to see him, score a touchdown in that last game at home. But I know that even for him, that wasn't what it was all about. It was all about being able to finish. It's all about winning. And it's all about doing what's best for the people around him. And, again, that is something that I will never forget.
Luke, Minnesota's quarterback's your first quarterback you're going to see in a month or so that's not a primary rushing threat for his offense. Does that change how you rush the passer? Because it's been such a strong suit lately. Just do you have to change when you know he's not a runner?
I think what those guys up front have done, and I tie it to the whole, the coaching, but also their ability to play was, you always kind of put into perspective and rank where the guy is as a scramble guy and a guy to keep the ball alive, and it does kind of change up some of the way that which you rush, and our guys have done a phenomenal job the last few weeks with handling those guys. I don't want to think it's much different. Sometimes when a guy doesn't have as much of a true big play ability to run or haven't seen that, sometimes guys lose their discipline. And I think that all in all, what it comes down to is, I think where we've been as successful as anything in the last couple of weeks defensively is playing very, very disciplined football. And a lot of that in the past 2 weeks has had to do with how you rush the quarterback. So regardless of, where his, supposed skill set is or where his escape ability or where his rush ability is, what it's going to come down to is our ability to be disciplined in what we're doing, because pretty much anybody that plays quarterback in this league has the ability to create and make some plays, whether they've had to do it or not. He hasn't had to maybe as much, but that poses some different issues for us as well.
Just with one game left in the regular season, what have you kind of learned this year that y'all need to do moving forward, moving into the off season to get the program back to where you are? Has it changed in the last few weeks based on the way y'all played the last few games?
No, I mean, I hope that some of you maybe are just getting a chance to, see what we felt, just over the last few weeks of just seeing some of the positives. Internally you felt like, man, there's some things that are growing. You don't always get a chance to see them on Saturdays, and sometimes the struggles outweigh some of the things that you actually visually can see, especially on Saturdays. And so I don't know that anything has changed. I know that, that's not what we're focused on right now, but when it's all said and done, we got to take a deep dive into things that we need to be able to do. We've talked about some of the traditional things of how to continue to build a program and how to continue to build a team. And so those are some things that we know we're going to make some adjustments and changes to. But I think at this point right now, nothing changes. I think these are some of the things that, us as a coaching staff have seen from within. Just some of the growth, some of the leadership that is a little bit more evident, obviously, when you win. But I think those are things that we felt like, okay, we're on a path that's going to take us in the right place. But we know as January hits, there's a lot of things that we're going to still have to continue to adapt and adjust and change with.
If you win on Saturday, you're a 5-7 team with good academics. Given the, first of all, would you accept a 5-7, or if you're at 5-7?
Look, we would never turn down a game, whether that's to play in a parking lot, whether that's to play wherever. Like, the truth of the matter. But what's most important is just saying, hey, all those kinds of things, they're just cloud your mind. Like, this is about one thing. It's about a rivalry. It's about an axe. It's about a history. And if by chance something happens after that, then we would be able to address that. But for right now, it's like, guys, don't worry about anything like that. Don't worry about what comes Sunday. Like, this is all about 5 days left of, being able to, this is the last guaranteed opportunities we have to be together, and let's make sure we do things the right way.
Kind of following up off that.
To me to cut you off on that, but.
But, last year where you have a team drop out, do you do anything differently, to be prepared for that, or are you not even thinking about that?
Not thinking about it. It's one game at a time right here, and that's what it's all about. And obviously you would, handle situations that you ever need to handle. I think, like I said, some of the growth of things that we're doing, I feel like we're in a really good place, but we got to continue to grow.